What's good?
Welcome.
Ready for another exciting episode? Same bad
The
channel,
best.
same bad time?
The best.
Yeah.
I'm trying to sound like Orange Man.
Orange Man bad?
Orange, Orange Man is good. Good for society. Good for the bombing.
We
Excuse
live
me,
in a
Will.
society?
What's a society?
I don't know. I
Everything.
just work here, man.
Everything's welfare. Everything is either too decentralized or too centralized.
Yeah. Why can't I just live on an island with a fucking model by now?
Well, if you lived on an island, that might be a bad thing because someone else had an island too.
Oh, I was just referencing an epic rap battle video, but okay.
And I was
Well,
referencing
I know what
Bill,
you were referencing. Shit.
Bill Gates. I was referencing
Yeah.
Bill Gates.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, it runs in the family, I'm sure. So,
Oh, Bill Gates is my great 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 nephew.
really?
No, that would be impossible for one. Two, we're both living, and three is older.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
Oh.
You don't want to walk into that line. I walked into another one, so
I walked the line,
yeah.
just like
Nothing
Johnny
quite scary.
Cash. So what are we speaking of today? What are we going to
We're
talk
supposed to
about?
be having Arvin Vohra on, so
Well, we're going to discuss the legacy of pulling out of
yeah.
society.
So we're just
Because I
hanging
mean,
out, waiting.
we'll hang out, chill for a bit, see what happens, and in the meantime, what is your speaking of the book? In fact, this is what we were going to discuss about.
I
So we both.
pull up on my screen.
So when it comes to pulling out, what does that mean for you besides the obvious humorous uh,
Um,
anecdotes?
a very contrarian, very negative rights based living, very minimalist perspective.
Very minimal.
Living very light on, you know, not being and too dedicated to one place at once. Very
Living for yourself and for anybody
who wants to live with you.
who permits themselves to live within your realm and wants to partner with you.
Yeah,
Thus, you both live for yourselves, but within a unified means. So,
yeah,
cooperation,
yeah.
voluntary exchange. It's just like anything. It's just like with the market, and I mean, as us
Keeping that drum.
Austrians. So, but it is. It's just like it. I mean, as us Austrians would reference. I mean, it's just like the market. I mean, everything is decentralized to a centralized point, right? I
Yeah,
mean, we can't be centralized as a society as a whole. That would be tyranny and enslavement, and that would be a mundane, boring life of servitude and disgust. Whereas when you live your life free, you live your life for the partnership. So you can choose whom you do business with in the market, or you can choose whom you uh, want to live your life with and do
yeah,
for within the realm of life and relationship. And that's essentially what anarchy is, as Michael Malice would ad- adamantly advocate. Anarchy is relationship.
yeah,
We make a lot of Michael Malice references.
yeah. Here's another one.
Yeah.
We need to get economic invincibility on here, Martin Goldberg, because he's talking about this kind of thing on one of his videos a while back. So
He's talked about this quite a lot actually.
yeah,
Yeah, I wouldn't mind I would definitely love to try to get with him and see if he can jump on with us, have a conversation because hey man, it's all about perspective.
yeah,
And for the most part, we kind of understand, even if we don't agree with certain aspects,
mm,
we do understand, we agree with a good portion of it.
yeah.
So, or we can
It's a jigsaw puzzle piece, man. You got to see what fits and what doesn't.
exactly, or you can be a violent extremist incel.
Hmm. Are you trying to tell me I made the FBI's watch list? Because I think I'm already on it. I've been on it for a long time now.
I think we're all on the FBI's watch list as long as we don't conform to the government
Yeah.
and its centralized control and its monetary monopoly with the Federal Reserve. So anytime you say in the Fed, you're on the watch list.
Yeah. Fusion centers, right? Am I right?
No, fusion centers are an
I was so
embarrassment
old
to
school,
society.
man. That was 2000s. Post
Yeah,
9/11.
now it's black sites.
Yeah.
Now they might just kidnap you and take you overseas to Colombia or some shit
Yeah.
and torture you and then shoot you in the face.
If you're lucky.
Oh no, I didn't say they were gonna shoot you in the face to kill you. No, no, they'll shoot you in the face with something that harms you.
Yeah.
A taser to the face.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you think we can get J-Reg on this program?
I think we could get J-Reg on this
He's
program.
pretty funny. I like his content.
We should get J-Reg on this program. We
Yeah.
could probably do it. We could probably do a ridiculous song together,
Yeah.
and then we can
to Ancapistan.
and then we can see if we can help him campaign in Ottawa.
Hey, I'm gonna go with that. I could use a vacation.
Hell yeah, I could definitely use a vacation. We couldn't get into Canada though. We're not fully vaccinated. We'll
Don't
have
you
to.
know anybody who's running from the law shouldn't go to Mexico because that's the most obvious place. You need to go to Canada because there's miles and miles and miles of open border.
Oh hell
And
yeah,
then you
dude.
escape to Alaska, and then you go to China. Like, what's his name? That one guy.
Why would we go to China?
Because that's where you disappear.
Yeah,
Last
disappear
place
when
you would
the
want to go.
yeah, disappear when the Chinese Communist Party comes finding you. Oh, and they will. They'll
If they
find you.
don't care about you, they're just interested in keeping the status quo.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. So
Unless
you
you
could
make a Winnie the Pooh reference, then you really offended some people.
no, I get the Winnie the Pooh reference to Mao, but don't you think Chi looks a little like rabbit?
Maybe just a little.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Yeah.
He looks a little bit like rabbit. So honestly, Al, remember Al? The owl, the wise owl,
Yeah.
kind of looks like Hitler. Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I guess it's up for our audience to decide.
hmm
So
Who does Piglet remind you of?
I don't know.
I don't know. I think
Well, now
you.
we
I
need to do
think,
a publicity stunt for our program. We need to go to North Korea and steal a tapestry or something.
dude, I am not going into a North Korean prison and getting beat half to death, and then wind up in a coma, and then when I'm finally released, I die in my own hospital because our
Dude, we can
healthcare
make these
system
jokes
sucks.
because we're from Cincinnati. That's
I
our
am from
privilege.
I am from Cincinnati.
Columbus, technically. So,
What?
I'm from Columbus, technically. I was
Man,
all over
you're
the news the night I was born.
Were you?
Yeah,
For
because
what?
my mom was trying to have me, and she was in the car, and yada yada yada. You know how that goes. It's just a news story. Satan was born that day.
Satan was born that day.
Nonconformist, eight wing seven.
That's a little harsh. Is that what she calls you, or a little
No,
Satan?
that's just what I like to think.
Well, I
Like a
mean, if she thinks
nonconformist raised by another nonconformist.
She kind of conforms though, right?
She likes the she likes
Every,
Cheeto.
she likes Cheetos.
Well, think
Yeah,
about
well,
it. He's another eight wing seven too.
when it comes down to it, like isn't all your parents conformists? All of our parents have conformed,
Yeah,
and we're kind of all picking up we either conform or we're picking up the pieces
yeah,
and trying to divert.
yeah.
So, I mean,
I
it
don't
is
know.
what it is.
Maybe it's the INTJ in me. I'm just a
So,
strategic. I don't know, anarchist, whatever you want to call it. I don't.
eh, yeah.
I'll
I
tell
mean,
you
I
to
don't
your
know.
face, man. If I do something, I'll tell you to your face. I'm not
Hmm.
gonna lie.
Oh, yeah. Hopefully. Oh, I mean, what's the point in lying anyway?
Yeah,
It's just gonna hurt you in the long run.
yeah.
Because then you
But
got to carry that lie over, and then and it may work for a while, but eventually it's gonna catch up to you, and the truth will never be heard.
yeah,
So might as well
I'll
just
give
own up.
I'll give you the rope. I'll put it around my neck. You're the one that has to push the chair out from underneath my feet.
Why's it got to be a chair? Why can't it be a trap door? And then I'm the one that pulls the
Okay,
lever.
I'm just using that as an example. Okay,
But I want fancy government style torture
well,
devices.
like one of the first episodes of Detective Conan, Case Closed. Yeah, I said it, Case Closed, where they go and they jump backwards on off a chair onto a block of ice with knives frozen into it, make it look like a murder when it's really a suicide.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's a
Yeah.
really good
Yeah.
episode.
So sort of like the knife that Christian Wall left underneath his child's bed after he smothered him. That's
You just had
fucked
to
up.
go there, didn't you?
Yeah, yeah. That was a fucked up incident, man.
We're not
But
supposed to
but
talk about Chris Benoit, man, or
no,
March.
according to yeah, we're not in WWE, so we're not supposed to talk about the Ben Wallace period.
Yeah, we're not
We can't
affiliated.
even Yeah, we can't even talk about if you're in the WWE, you can't even talk about Nancy Benoit or
Yeah,
Daniel
yeah.
or any of the family.
I really
It,
feel bad
no,
for him.
no, no. That was a sad situation. And you know what's really sad is like as medical science is evolving, we do know a little bit more with the human brain. Obviously, CTE can't be diagnosed until a person is dead, but
Yeah,
he took so many blows to the head, like his brain had to have been mush, dude.
they
Like,
said he
there's
was
no
like
way.
80 years old.
Yeah,
Had 2 years of
probably, yeah,
brain.
yeah, about 80, 85, yeah, something like that. Like, it's just sad, like and it obviously sent him into emotional, uh, distressful psychosis. So he
Yeah,
just wasn't himself, and that's a lot of that happens to a lot of athletes in general. Like,
yeah,
probably the most similar instance to like Crispin Wall, besides the fact that he can go kill his family as well,
yeah,
would probably be like Junior Seau, who ended up blowing his brains out, didn't he?
yeah.
Something like that.
Listen,
Or Aaron, yeah.
I'm not comparing Chris Benoit to anybody, but I'm just concerned. Um, I mean, it's none of my business. I'm just making an observation. Dude Love took a lot of chair shots. I
He
mean,
did. He did. And honestly, I mean, I'm surprised. I'm quite sure that he's not. He's definitely like he's
yeah,
either half retarded. Well, he's pretty much retarded now. Like, and
yeah,
that I mean, your brain is affected differently. Like some people, I mean, maybe he took so much beating, in my opinion, because he was on that ultraviolet or that ultra violent extreme idea of
yeah.
professional wrestling that he's just straight retarded now. Like, have you heard Mick Foley speak? And he can barely fucking speak.
No, I haven't.
No, like in
I
my
mean,
opinion, I mean, and that's somebody that
I have
just
a
has
lot
so
of
much.
respect for Mick Foley.
No, I
I
do
mean,
too. Like
like we're
that
marks.
man, yeah, yeah.
That's different. Just because we're fans doesn't mean we can't have respect for people.
Oh yeah, yeah, and I will like I agree with you. Like that is a man that literally took his career to the top and put his body, his heart, his soul, his blood, his sweat, all of it into the business of professional wrestling. And for what? In my opinion, for what? Like he really didn't start getting paid until after he got fucked up. But I mean, it is what it is. He loved the sport,
Yeah,
the sports entertainment realm. So, he's definitely an extreme icon, definitely, especially as
extreme
mankind.
doesn't start to describe it.
Yeah, I don't even have the words to describe it, but
Yeah,
I mean, mankind, Cactus Jack, Dude Love, Mick Foley, one love, brother.
yeah,
I'm I'm so sad that you're pretty much practically retarded now.
yeah.
But I guarantee you, when he dies, and if they look at his brain and
Yeah.
study it, they'll probably find that like he,
Just like Crispin was.
it probably will be worse than Chris Benoit's,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
He took
But
Benoit took a lot of headshots and
he
a
did
lot
a
of
lot of,
headbutts. I should
yeah,
say. I'm sorry.
yeah. Well,
It
it's
was
that
his
fucking,
finisher, man.
yeah, that headbutt, man, like that flying headbutt. I
Yeah,
mean, but he wanted to be just like his idol. So,
yeah,
what was his idol's name? Dynamite Kid or something like that.
yeah. I think so.
Yeah, he did that was his exact finishing move. And shit, I think actually, I just watched the documentary and that's what it said. Like he ended up putting himself in a wheelchair, I think, because
Yeah,
of that one flying headbutt finisher or whatever it was for him. And I mean, Chris Benoit ended up killing his wife and his child,
yeah,
obviously, and then killing himself. So obviously, there's some neurological
yeah.
facets to everything, whether it's spinal, whether or up in the brain
Yeah.
directly. There's
Well,
definitely
stress and trauma will
situations.
do that to you too, man. Once it loses your system, it totally messes you up.
hmm
So,
hmm Yeah. So I mean, I'm starting to think the same thing with Joe Biden, man.
yeah.
No, I mean, he's taking some headshots. I'd assume some headshots
Look,
up the nose when he was probably younger.
I'm not opposed to giving Joe Biden headshots with the chair. It's for entertainment.
Well, I just meant, well, who do you think? How do you think Hunter Biden learned how to smoke crack?
I don't know.
He's had to watch
Good
somebody
question.
snort the coke.
That's a good question.
So
So,
we do a
the
lot of Hunter
dynasty.
Biden puns. The
Yeah.
dynasty of the dynasty of George W. Bush. You think? And speaking of Bush, you think Jeff gonna run in 2024?
Oh yeah, I think he's definitely
Yeah.
gonna put his hat in there. You should let Jeff speak. Come on.
No, no, no. Let him speak. Let him speak.
Yeah.
I don't like
Thank you,
him.
Donald. Uh,
We don't like to go political, but while we're waiting here, who do you perceive as going to be the Republican primary candidates for 2024 besides Donald Trump and
it's gonna be that guy from Florida that everybody's been talking about.
Ron DeSantis?
Yeah,
Yeah. So you got Donald Trump, you got Ron
yeah.
DeSantis. Who else puts their name in the hat?
Oh man, I don't know. I don't write the scripts.
You think Liz Cheney says she's probably going to after
Yeah, probably.
losing her primary for a seat in
Yeah.
Wyoming. So she'll probably do it. You know
They'll
why?
get some no names like they did last time around.
I don't know, man. They'll probably gravitate towards bringing Jeb Bush back.
Yeah, complete the trilogy.
Complete the trilogy. Who knows?
Thank you, right?
Maybe it's in the running to maybe it's in the writing right now to put a third Bush in.
Yeah,
I mean, you fucked up with Biden, you fucked up with Trump, you seriously fucked up with Obama. Why not just go back to a Bush? I mean, at least it's a stable neoconservative
yeah,
tyranny. I mean, Bush, for the most part, was a little stability until 2008,
yeah. Well,
but he was almost out anyways. He waited towards the end for the instability. Like,
yeah.
oh, here you go, Barack.
I'm gonna
Have
abandon
fun.
free. I'm gonna abandon free market principles to save the free market.
Mm-hmm.
There isn't a free market unless there's a free market money, and we have one central bank.
Yeah, yeah.
It
And
draws
basically,
into quicksand and only makes things worse the longer it
so
runs.
So just like the money, where we need to decentralize it, we need to expand it, we need to have competition. What do you think about the sexual marketplace? Do we need to restrict it, or do we evolve with it? Like what Arvin actually says in his book, it's better
Yeah.
to evolve because the traditional aspect of marriage is gone. Like we're so far behind that, and in reality, it's
Yeah.
been polluted by the institutional wisdom of the state because of tax purposes, obviously. That I mean, fuck marriage. People can get together if they want to have a traditional
Yeah.
marriage. They don't have to actually get married, especially specifically within the eyes of the state. I
Yeah.
mean, if you have religious beliefs, you want to get married within your church, cool. But also look at the aspect of the traditional set of marriage now, and how high the divorce rate truly is, because there really is no real partnership, and it's all practically state sanctioned, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, and every there's control for one factor, and theft from the other,
Yeah.
essentially, right? So, and he has a point in this book. I mean, I mean, a relationship, when it comes, especially when it comes to the idea of traditional marriage, it was for the woman had gave the man two resources. The
Yeah.
man had only one resource. You had resource fidelity, you had sexual and reproductive fidelity.
Yeah.
Resource was the money, the breadwinner was the man,
I think,
and the woman gave you children
yeah, the
and a fun
legacy,
time.
the legacy that we were talking about here, that he makes the argument in the book, is that men have rested on their laurels and got comfortable, and they didn't think anything was ever going to change.
Hmm.
Meanwhile, you know, the female culture significantly evolved
Hmm.
through the power of the state,
Yeah.
the long march of institutions that they like to talk about, you know, and this is where we're at. We're going, they're dissolving the family. They're retiring the role of the father. They're
Hmm.
grandfathering the role of the father, I should say.
Hmm.
And
To the
creating
government.
more and more nonconformists,
Hmm.
which will basically retroactively reapply the same sexual market regulations that had existed prior to the feminist movement
Yeah,
in
yeah,
the
and
long
and
term.
yeah, and that's the thing. Like you're exactly right, and he's exactly right on that argument where men just got comfortable, but society has to evolve, and women wanted to fight for their right as well, and so they fought for their right to have their voice within the parameters of our governmental system, of our political institutions. They won that, and then they wanted more, just like everybody wants
Never
more.
enough. It's always a new
It's
season.
exactly, once you finally have the right to be able to put yourself in the workplace, you finally have the right to vote, you finally have this and that, and next thing you know, you want to have the right to kill your fetus,
Yeah.
which is, I mean, whatever. I mean, honestly, if you want to do that, understand the consequences. The consequences is it might sterilize you, or
You-
it may fuck up your reproductive system to the point where it may be harder for
it-
you to
It's
conceive again.
actually, there's significant genetic consequences to it because it
Mhm.
actually produces, you know, the growth of cancer within your body.
That too. Yeah, yeah,
So
that too.
even if the men do nothing,
Hmm.
nature still wins out and hurts the woman.
Hmm. And that's the consequences of it. I mean, nature will always outlast us all.
Yeah.
Nature is always changing, and when especially and when the argue, let's take this as an example. When they argue about the climate change um situation that we're not actually in,
Yeah.
using that as a political a political tool to expand tyranny, essentially. Expand the welfare state, expand the warfare state, expand the powers of government bureaucratic institutions. Um, what was I saying? Oh, they're just using that as a scare tactic. Climate changes. The earth changes. I'm sorry. Like there's no fallacy in saying that if you go up north to the Arctic, the polar caps are melting.
Yeah.
It's they are melting. There are climates change, and it's altering different climates all over the earth. Does that have anything to do with humanity and our technological industrial advancements? To a certain extent, a little bit. But for the most part, it's a lot of it is natural.
Yeah.
It's not just the human air portion of it is so minuscule. It's not even funny because the Earth is always changing. It's always altering. The Earth is healing itself.
Yeah.
That's essentially how I look at it. It's legitimately just healing itself and setting itself up for the next stage within the
Yeah.
parameters of its natural state. So,
Yeah. Well, I've been reading the Bible and everything.
mhm,
And think about it this way. That's just their perspective about the events of their time, right? What we're talking about and discussing is minuscule in relevance to the very length and time and power of the earth and the atmosphere and humans' impact on it.
mhm, and
So
the universe for
yeah,
that matter.
yeah,
So we're still attached to ourselves on a very linear form of time,
yeah,
and we fail to gravitate towards the concept that time is in fact infinite, but humans aren't. So
no,
we just have to live within this small field of infinite time. The
yeah,
Earth is got probably another what like 40 billion years. This our sun and our solar system has like another what 50 billion,
yeah,
something like that. So I mean before it completely goes supernova or not, maybe it just goes into a red dwarf and just shuts off. Who knows?
yeah.
But I mean, I we won't be around then.
I'll be
Um,
lucky. I'll be dead.
yeah, we'll all be dead. So people 50 billion years from now, good luck. Hopefully,
Yeah,
hopefully you figure out space travel so you can get out of the solar system because
yeah,
Mars ain't it.
yeah. I don't know, man. That's work here.
And that sort of goes with like the Mars Yoke right there. I
Yeah,
mean, that's like short term. You have long term problems, but the solution is always short term. You
yeah,
can't we got to get ourselves out of that short term mechanism. We need to start looking further out. Like how about the future? Like how about we set up the future for something positive? Like let's
yeah,
evolve now so the future generations can have something to work at to help the next generation and then generation after that.
yeah. I don't know.
Hmm.
But like he says in his book, we should probably consider our culture, our legacy, and religious perspectives, and integrate those in
Hmm.
our life as well. So
Yeah, yeah,
that's
I
why
I like that concept.
that's why I've really significantly started reading the Bible.
Hmm.
Probably
Hmm.
about three-fourths of the way through the Old Testament.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, and I,
yeah,
I like that concept out of that. I mean, we
yeah,
should embrace whatever culture that we've come from in order to find ourselves.
yeah,
Because if we can find ourselves through the culture and that we embrace, then that can benefit the many different other cultures that are around us. Because maybe we can, we can utilize that one golden rule:
yeah,
treat your neighbor like you would want to be treated, which we don't do a lot of that. Um, we don't do a lot of that nowadays,
yeah,
probably because of welfareism
yeah.
and feminism and transphobia.
hey, there's nothing wrong with being transphobe. There's nothing
So
wrong.
he also, speaking of that, I mean, that's one thing that I liked on the book too, that he discusses. The most successful civil rights movement has been the gay rights movement. It's
Yeah.
obviously been hijacked because we just stated it.
Fact, or is just how it evolved, which is like the feminist
or
movement.
or evolved. I mean, however you want to refer to, you can say hijacked by political measures or just evolved into wanting more. Just like what we
Yeah.
just said, once you've reached one pinnacle, you just want to gravitate towards another goal and try to
You
expand
get
that notion.
momentum and strength
Yeah.
as you get speed,
Mm-hmm.
momentum, you gain
Mm-hmm.
strength and support, and it's a
Mm-hmm.
lot harder to change the narrative.
Yeah. But one thing I like is maybe we all need to, like, especially us as men, like we should look to the gay movement of like the 70s, 80s, 90s, and look what they did in their culture in order to finally get noticed, so that people weren't, I mean, there's still bigotry now, and they're
Yeah.
still looked down upon on certain smaller cultures, but mainstream, like they're relatively accepted
Yeah.
now. That it's evolved into a, obviously the movement itself has been polluted as it's evolved into wanting more and expanding more, but it's just like feminism that led to the into the 1920s with the 19th Amendment, women getting the federal constitutional right to vote. I mean, it takes time, you work at it, you get noticed, you gain your esteem,
Yeah.
and we just have to take that, and we have to understand that you don't have to go further.
Yeah.
Let's try to get as comfortable as we possibly can be in a world that is more, I don't know, better attributed for everybody.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm going to say, fuck politics. Let's influence the market and become anarchists. Anarchy, baby, and do a dance.
Hey, it was his idea. So,
So yeah.
So like the financial systems like gravity,
Mm-hmm.
and we got these small disbursements of ideas, and the more financial power and pool that they have, and the more social influence, the greater the source of the pollution.
Mm-hmm.
And as they consolidate into the regions and they gain steam and momentum, like I said, and strength, it's harder to break through and and change the perspective of different as generations evolved, because
Mm-hmm.
that's all they ever knew. They don't
Mm-hmm.
know the perspective of generations that preceded them. You look into history for solutions, but you can keep digging. You're not going to get, just because you understand their perspective and the solution doesn't mean that you can convince the masses. You can convince the tribe or whatever you want to say, the herd, that your perspective is right. They get emotionally attached to ideas. They get offended.
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to help them, but
They
they just
become
don't care.
snowflakes.
Yeah, they just don't care about that. They only care about being comfortable,
Mm-hmm.
happy, and they don't want to think.
Mm-hmm. Now,
So
in order to be comfortable, you got to be comfortable within yourself. But you can only be comfortable with yourself when you're constantly striving to be better, for the
yeah,
most part. I mean, when you just when you relax too much further, you get lazy and you get lackluster, and you're not motivated to try to advance your own narrative to better yourself within a
yeah,
society of different cultures and narratives. Everybody has a narrative, everybody has a perspective. Nobody can monopolize it because we all are unique individuals with our own thoughts and our own ideas.
that are
And
illegal.
yeah, So,
They make it
I
illegal
mean,
because
yeah,
you don't have the right to own your own emotions. Your emotions are the property of the herd.
are they? I don't agree with that. Fuck the herd.
Well, just because you
Collective,
feel that way doesn't mean that they don't feel differently.
yeah. Collectivism, yeah. But
Yeah,
I mean, in a collective sense, yeah. I mean, nobody because, th- I mean, that's the best. That's the best part of understanding that is your emotions are your own, and nobody has to. They don't have to deal with them. So they can ponder away, they can ponder about it, and then they could turn around and react to your emotions. That's one choice, that's one aspect. Or they can straight up just separate from you, walk away, and leave you to sulk in your own self-pity.
yeah,
So I mean, so you're exactly right, like your emotions are for the most part owned by the collective, in that sense. They're
yeah,
your emotions, but there's no product that you are selling towards because nobody wants that product,
yeah,
because nobody gives a shit about that product. That product. Like, why would anybody actually care unless you make it upon yourself to
yeah,
understand their emotions and they make it upon themselves to understand your emotions? And that is when you end up collecting into a relationship between two individuals.
yeah,
Um, but as a collective, there is no relationship.
yeah.
I mean, I have mine, you have yours, and we're here. We're here as a whole. Sorry, socialists, it can't work.
It just doesn't work that way.
No, it just doesn't work. I wish that socialist utopia could actually be uh forthcoming, because on
You
paper,
impose scarcity. I thought we already
no,
imposed
no, no.
scarcity.
Well, yeah, on paper, on paper it actually sounds very nice. It sounds peaceful. It sounds it sounds wonderful. Let's just put it this way.
Yeah,
It's not reality.
you sound
It's
like
not.
a middle school history teacher.
I mean, try not to, but I mean, sometimes them idiots fucking brush up on you a little
Well,
bit.
it was
They say some good things every now and again.
on public. It was a public school system. What do you expect? Of course, they're gonna say it
Yeah.
sounds good on paper.
Well, yeah, except for they're actually advocating straight up for Marxism. So,
Yeah.
especially now,
And this was the conservative teacher.
I believe it. Driving the speed limit,
Yeah.
just driving the speed limit.
Listen, man, I may be standing on quicksand, but that doesn't mean, that I'm gonna fall into it.
We could be
It's not
worse.
moving.
We could be in a.
I'm just sinking.
It could be worse. I mean, it could be a fast gushing body of rapid water. I
Yeah.
mean, pulling you under. So at
No,
least,
no. Listen, I went to Limerence. That's what it felt like. Like I was swimming upstream of quicksand. So
deliverance.
Limerence.
Oh, limerence. I
Yeah.
thought you said deliverance. You been to
No.
deliverance, boy? Did somebody
I've lived
did
in
some
Wyoming,
hillbilly
okay? There was 1,000 people in the whole town.
did somebody walk up to you talking like this and say, "You got a pretty mouth, boy. Why don't you bend over? Why don't you bend
No,
over and suck
no,
this?"
no.
Boy, this is the country right here, and I don't know you, you don't know me, and you're gonna make me
20 bucks is
happy.
20 bucks.
20 bucks, that's some work. I mean, if you want to pay me 20 bucks, that's fine.
Yeah. Well, this has been fun, but we had to gonna have to break for our sponsor. We'll be back in just a minute.
Howdy. Have a good one.
See you in a
We'll see
minute.
you again.
Rabelais Bullseye.
And we're back.
Yep. Welcome back to the program. Thanks for consuming our content and enjoying our advertising spots. So,
And remember, if you want to voluntarily jerk Andrew off for $1,
in
he will
Bitcoin
much be
Cash.
obliged. No, no, it's got to be in fiat, and he
Uh,
only takes fiat. Me on the other hand, if you want to jerk me off for 2 Bitcoin Cash, I'm all for it.
see, This is what happens when you give this guy a microphone.
When you give me a microphone, I have no filter.
Yeah. Except for the filter on your cigarette.
Darn it. Gosh, darn it.
I'm sorry. I'm a real man. I smoke Newports.
I'm a real man. I smoke Marlboros. Marlboros. I'm gonna be just like the Marlboro cowboy.
Yeah.
Hello.
No, I don't smoke Newports. I don't smoke at all. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I just make really offensive comments on the internet trying to get money.
See that, ladies? He's straight edge, just like CM Punk.
Yeah. Right.
Too bad. I think he might have done drugs.
Probably.
Steroids. Every wrestler does steroids.
Well, you
Just a
know,
little
everyone's
bit.
got to have their little push and narrative, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't think he makes it to the top of WWE without doing a little bit of something. But you never know. You never know. He seems like a genuine guy.
Yeah, we're not Kevin Nash going in the locker room and shaking a bottle and seeing if anybody does anything. We don't
That
have
was cool
that
though.
level of privilege.
Yeah, but that's cool though.
Yeah,
Kevin Nash was cool. He was
yeah.
real.
That's why I blocked me on Twitter for having a difference in opinion. Don't even,
Was
engage me.
well, it's not his fault that as he's gotten older, he's become a liberal.
Yeah, he's a centrist,
Is he?
and that's why we
Yeah.
had to have J-Rag on so we can ask him the best strategy to kill him.
Yes. Center.
Not
Dick.
literally kill him, but his centralization, centrist perspective.
Well, we could always put it on the market to bet on whether or not we should kill him for crypto. How about we do that,
You're just
folks?
trying to get the police to come to our house, aren't they?
No, I'm trying to get the feds to come to the house so I can shake their hands and join them.
You get some tannerite?
Yeah. There's a Fed behind me. You just can't see. You can't see it behind the Ohio State logo.
You can't see me. The time is now. The time is now. You can't see me. Oh wow.
My time is now.
Yeah.
I just heard my time is now. Was that a John Cena reference?
I don't know.
Excuse
Was
excuse,
it word
excuse me,
life?
John Cena. Word life. This is basic Chinanomics. Word life. This is basic Chinanomics.
Well,
I
think
forgot.
about it, man. I mean, like, do you want to be protected by the mob or do you want to be protected by the state? Which one is it?
I'd probably want to be protected by the mob, actually.
So you want to go back in time, so you want to go to China to have your rights protected.
Sure, why not? Fuck
Yeah.
it. Fuck it.
Do it live.
What, how
Think
far,
about
how far back in time are we going in China?
right after all the purging and all the murder, but
Oh, Maoist
before
China?
the centralization of the police force. Let's just put it that way.
Oh, I was
Perfect,
hoping.
deep, strength for the
Oh,
individual.
hmm,
That's why
okay.
people jump into, water wells, and children have to wait weeks and weeks at a time before they can drink the water from the well.
There's a centralization.
Yeah. And if you're
What
not
have you?
sure what we're talking about, there was a lady that grew up in the Cultural Revolution in China that was on Michael Malice's podcast.
Mm-hmm.
That was the story she told. And she's probably
Yeah.
sticking to it because, it was her experience.
Yep. Yep. Everybody has their own experience, and perspectives can't change
Yeah.
when it's your perspective, unless you're lying. If you get caught up in a lie, but I don't think her story's ever changed. I think in fact I don't know. I think I might have heard her. I know who you're talking about. Well, I forgot her name, but I think I heard her on another podcast too. Same
Oh, really?
story.
Yeah.
Yeah. But still, I mean, at the same time, that's that's what you get.
Yeah.
You get what you get. So it's best to write your own book.
I was talking to the person that I said I've been talking to. I don't want to give any names or anything like that, but
Hmm.
he says that, the nationalists. There's some people that are nationalists in China that think that the North Korean system is actually something that they should implement in China. People are starving to death, and they don't think communism has gotten strong enough.
Well, technically, the communists wouldn't you refer to these communists more as fascists though?
Yeah.
Considering
Well,
the
that's
fact
what
that
they
they
said.
were.
That's what the person said. He said that they were the Nazis or they're fascists like that. So
Well, they've essentially nationalized the culture of China.
yeah,
They've disingenuously separated and even enslaved certain segments of the population that doesn't match the culture.
yeah,
They allow for they've embraced the element of splitting the market to where the government centrally plans with regulation, partners with corporations that are in bed with the party that work the market, that conduct the business of exchange between goods and services, the industrialization. I mean, yeah, and they essentially have decentralized their police tactics for the most part as well, just like the Gestapo, their districts.
yeah.
Their
So
districts.
basically,
I
what we
mean,
have here, but it's just going at a slower pace.
yeah, that's exactly what we have here. The only difference here is we have like an implementation of, I'd probably say it's more of an Italian fascist twist with a Stalinist esoteric attitude.
Yeah,
So
punk band bad.
whereas yeah, Orange Man bad, where, where and that's speaking of Orange Man, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah,
We have that Stalinist esoteric flavor. We've adopted a lot of Stalin's technique, um, with more fascist over undertones within our economic policy, which means the state just regulates, let corporations run amok and fuck the market.
yeah.
But
Well, corporations are people according to the Supreme Court. So, and people are the property of the District of Columbia. So, technically, every business is the property of the District of Columbia, and we live in a dictatorship. We have a king. It's the District of Columbia.
we do have a king. We do have a king. We just we put that sovereign in power
Yeah,
with a different face every 4 to 8 years.
yeah,
I mean, Congress. I mean, you can't say Congress is the representation of that king, because Congress is just asshats that are fumbling all over themselves with the strings being pulled by the central bank. I mean, if you really want to go by that Constitution, people, Congress is supposed to be the ones that can control the monetary supply, not the central bank. Central bank controls it. Congress just asks for it and then goes to the executive branch to print it after they get the loan from the Federal Reserve. Regardless, it doesn't matter whether it's a
still,
central bank or it's Congress. It's still a monopoly on the
even if
monetary
the central
supply.
bank wasn't involved, we
It's
wouldn't be
still
following the
communism.
even if the central bank wasn't involved, we still wouldn't be following the Constitution because the Constitution says that representatives should be appointed by the states, right?
In the Senate, in the
Yes,
Senate,
I'm sorry.
yeah, and yeah,
It
in the House,
it all just runs together at some point because you just
yeah,
don't care.
you don't
They
give a
don't
shit
care.
anymore.
It's
And that
all
was it.
populism. It's all
Yeah,
about stealing money from Party A and electing them to Party B so that
hmm
they can enforce rules on Party C. Because I don't agree with you, and I'm really upset. Why? So I'm going to send a
that's
guy over here who has nothing to do with us to make you do what I want you to do, and that's why we're capitulating. That's why we're going into national debt, $30 trillion.
you just described what the Federalist Papers are all about. I don't get what I wanted. Give me what I want.
Yeah,
Compromise. Fuck you, Federalists. And of course the anti-Federalists capitulated.
yeah.
All right, we'll have our federalist constitutional republic. All right, just give us 20 years of just give us in 20 years we'll we'll end the slave trade. That was one compromise. We'll give you federalism, you just give us 20 years of the slave trade.
Just think about it, man. It was just too hot for them to have a system of governance without them making some money.
Mm-hmm.
If they
That
could have,
was the
okay, yeah, we made this decision,
mm-hmm.
we're broke, but at least everybody's free.
Well, when you bring guys in like Robert Morris to help with the convention in 1787, you got a problem there. I mean, Morris was an asset of the fucking crown. That you basically just implemented it. I mean, the Constitutional Convention just basically welcomed the crown back. They're like, Britain, we fucked up. You come help us indirectly. I mean, because we all
Covert. That's the word you're looking
covertly,
for.
covertly or indirectly. Yeah, I mean, because that's essentially what happened. Like the United States has been a possession of Great Britain since it was settled by Great Britain. The revolution was a success to a certain extent until the Constitutional Convention, and we went right back into the hands of Britain. Why do you think the British were so? It was so easy for them to wage war yet again on us in the War of 1812.
Think about it this way. Maybe the whole revolution was a work.
I'm starting to think that it makes sense.
Man, 300 years later, I think it's a little too late for us to make a decision now.
Yeah, yeah, and honestly, for as admirable as that revolution seemingly is, it wasn't a true revolution for what it is. A real revolution is, well, I mean, what the French Revolution was, and look what happened there. I mean, those are revolutions.
Guillotine politicians.
So I'd like to guillotine a
Even Rand
couple
Paul.
politicians. So even yeah, he's a capitulator. Speaking of that,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong. He's had some nice battles with Anthony Fauci, but is it a work?
Oh, it's a work.
I mean, this is a man that endorsed Mitt Romney in 2012, so they wouldn't endorse his father. I mean, at least it would have showed principle, but no, let's
Couldn't
endorse the
endorse his own
establishment.
blood.
Yeah, let's endorse the establishment candidate because he can beat Barack Obama.
Yeah.
Did he beat Barack Obama?
Not
really. Come on, conservatives.
Stop driving the speed limit. Pick up the pace. We need need to go down that pipeline a little faster.
Yeah, I mean, that's how Liz Cheney thinks. She wants to go down that freeway a little faster.
It usually starts with Ayn Rand.
Mm-hmm. So
that's not an endorsement of a book. That's just the title of a book.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Great ideas. Still don't. Yeah, she's very objective, but at the same time, just didn't follow her principles, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a shame, and that's usually how it goes.
Be realistic.
I mean, yeah.
At what point is it too expensive to follow principles that
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, look at Jefferson. I mean, Jefferson had. I mean, to be a Jeffersonian,
except for when you're not.
It's definitely fantastic, a fantastic notion because Jefferson had spirited ideals of liberty, and he wrote it himself. I mean, you have to constantly fight to attain your liberty, but yet look what he did throughout the remainder of his life since the Declaration of Independence and that he wrote and the Constitutional Convention. I mean, a lot of the signers of the Declaration, they did start freeing those who were slave owners. They freed their slaves for the most part. A great majority of them did. Eventually, he did not. He advocated for self-governorship and limitations of the state, and yet when he was the president, he actually expanded it exponentially. And one such case was the purchase of the Louisiana territory from France in 1803, which just, I mean, it's tax revenue. That's the only reason why you purchase land.
Once you're
Get
at
people
that,
to.
once you're at that level, man,
Mhm.
hard to not press the button.
Yeah, yeah, and get this, the first the first outsourced um the first outsourced war that we ever fought was under Thomas Jefferson, in Tunisia in North Africa.
Yeah,
So
the
I
force of
mean,
keeping men.
so I mean, there goes to show you, like, people can be principled in their ideas, but a lot of
And
people
their
just can't
practice
live
and
by it.
action,
Yeah,
it's just
yeah.
impossible.
So we should all be like Peter Schiff.
Yeah,
We should practice it.
yeah.
We
By
should.
bankrupting our bank to follow the law that we preach against, because I don't know,
Because we can.
we don't want to go to jail
We
because we
just
don't
don't
want.
want to.
Yeah, some people are like,
You
okay, everything
described
that's
him in a
illegal is
T.
what I'm going to do because it's illegal, and it's called
Mm-hmm.
legalism. It's a it's an anarchy ball.
Mm-hmm.
Some people just want to say things, but they don't want to actually go through with them. They don't care about their reputation. I don't care about my reputation. Who am I here to impress? You?
You're here to impress Joe Biden. He's watching you. He watches you when you
He got
shower.
upset because I made that comment about the chair shot earlier. That's why he's watching. That No, really seriously, I can turn invisible like the shadow, like the old radio program, and I
Mm-hmm.
hit him over the head when he was going up Air Force One that one day. That's why he fell. Nobody
I
saw me.
believe you. I believe you. I believe you. I think it was all you. You are the shadow.
I love the shadow. That's a great radio program. I've
It
listened to it
is.
for decades and decades.
It is. A lot of that's see, that was entertainment back then.
Yeah,
Look what we have for entertainment now. It's all bullshit. Like, what happened to principle and
what the hell are
respect?
you watching on the Legacy Right? What are you doing with your life? And you watching some jackass and another jackass talk shit about nothing. Yes, you're a jackass.
That's I mean, you summed it up. You summed it up. So why would you want to? Why do you want to watch a pair of jackasses act like jackasses for the
Because it's
thrill?
Friday night.
Well, most people. There's two things that people do on a Friday night: they get drunk, or
They record a podcast.
they record a podcast, or they're on Twitter, which the
Yeah.
majority of America is because of this fucking thing. So you can go out and about and be on Twitter. Don't even
And
have to go anywhere.
every second of my life, I'm dying, man.
Mm-hmm.
Might as well be doing something entertaining.
Exactly. I'd rather do a podcast than something stupid.
Yeah.
What's the point of what's the point of going out and partying? Actually, I watched something about living for the weekend, which is what we pretty much do in this country. We live
Yeah.
for the weekend. We work through the week. We get to the weekend. We loosen up, right?
Yeah.
But it takes a whole. But by having that mentality to live for the weekend, we're actually shortening our lifespans because we're not doing anything
Mm.
that's motivating. We're not doing anything that's stimulating. We're just working and then partying or getting drunk. You may not even be a partier. You just go home and relax, max out on the couch, and just sit there for 2 straight days before you got to go back to work on Monday. Well, what kind of life?
Hold that thought, repeat. I ain't never heard anybody complain about that program. That's Cranked out up in Vice City, BCPR. I'm sorry.
But no, you're good. You're good. But I mean, really, yeah, I mean, rinse and repeat. And you, for every moment that you pretty much do absolutely nothing but just live to work
Yeah.
and work to live, you're losing a chance in experiencing something. I mean, go take a fucking walk. So, and not around your block, like go actually go venture out and explore your surroundings.
I'd
I
like to,
mean,
but it's a little expensive nowadays to survive. You have to work every second of your life just to be able to put, you know, put food on the table.
yeah, and that's where the monopoly of the state gets in the way right there. And that, I mean, that's why it's so imperative we destroy this monetary monopoly that the Federal Reserve has a vice grip on, and the government. I mean, even if the Federal Reserve wasn't there, we'd still have a monopoly on our money supply. I mean, the government needs to be out of it all. We need to decentralize to a certain
Yeah.
extent so that we can have other means of being able to just survive. So
Yeah.
we can actually live, we can afford to live while being able to afford to enjoy. Because that's what life is. Life, you need to survive at one moment, but we live in a modern, supposedly, we live in a technologically advanced modern society that's supposed to make things easier, right?
Yeah.
So why isn't it making it easier? Well, it's
Here,
because the government is fucking inflating the money supply.
pause this video, go to YouTube, type in Red Savine Daddy. Listen to that song and come back and watch and listen to what we're saying. Think
We'll
about the
wait.
context of that period of time relative to now. It's nowhere near the same.
Hmm. And
Yeah, they
it's
were
wonderful.
poor, but they had each other. Now
Yeah.
we're rich, but we have nothing.
Exactly. You will own nothing and you will be happy. It goes without saying. I mean, I mean, you didn't have to hear Klaus say it back in 2020 on on those little clip sound bites that everybody was releasing and memes and everything from the World Economic Forum conference in 2020. It's happening. The
Yeah,
whole idea is to make you poorer by enriching you with bullshit. I mean, you don't have to be a minimalist. I'm not saying go out and sell all your stuff and then go live in a fucking van, but you don't need excess. You get what I'm saying?
yeah.
I know you get what I'm saying.
Go sell your cloak and buy a sword.
Go burn your books and go buy an AR-15. So when the IRS shows up, yeah, you can match them.
Look, those are illegal. I have a different model under a different name. It's still a rifle.
It's still a rifle. Well,
I have a Scorpion.
I think a Glock is considered a rifle now.
Yeah.
Semi-automatic, right?
I wish I had a Scorpion.
Mm-hmm.
A Barrel, that's what I really want.
See,
Yeah. Barrels are nice guns.
I want a sword just because
Didn't
why
our
not?
friend have a sword when we were in high school?
Me and Kyle, we
Yeah.
made swords. We made shields together actually out of this. One time we went to the end of his street in the woods a little bit, and
Yeah.
there was this little metal grate, large metal grate. We just took it, and I remember that because it was it was filled with poison ivy oils. I was covered with ivy from head to toe.
Yeah.
But anyways, we actually made shield. We ended up cutting that down, and we made a couple shields out of that, and then we would sword fight in this yard. So I
Yeah.
think someone called the cops on us once because we were sword fighting.
Yeah.
We were just sword fighting. No, I wasn't. I remember one time. I mean,
I
we were
borrowed
he
that
was
sword
playing.
and totally fucked it up.
I remember one time he was fucking around with his broken one, where the blade, yeah, it was his saber, where the blade was it wasn't fitting tightly in the
Yeah.
on the handle, and he was fucking around. He was waving it like this, and I kid you not, the blade it flung right off, and he's holding the handle, and it goes right past my. I mean, I swear to God, if my head was turned like this, he would have got me. It went right, brushed right next to me, slammed right into his wall, and stuck there. I'm like, holy shit, that was awesome. Don't do that again,
You
you
think the
dumb fuck.
machete's still where we left it?
Those machetes, either someone picked them up, or or they are still there, rusted the hell and back, and just covered into the ground now.
Yeah,
So they're either dug into the ground, or I have a feeling probably somebody ended up finding them like at least a month later.
yeah.
They had to have. There's no way.
Well,
They were
it's
kind
been
of out in the open.
far too long since that'll happen. So
Mm-hmm. See that's
16
what
years
we.
probably.
Yeah, it's been about that. It's been about
Yeah,
16, 15 or 16. See, this is what we used to do as kids. You know what kids do nowadays? It actually it puts a smile on my face when I see kids riding around on their bikes
yeah.
outside. I'm like,
Wow, that
holy
actually,
shit, there's actual normal kids.
yeah,
But I mean, that's what we did. We would ride our bike, we'd get with our friends, we'd ride down the street, go into the woods,
yeah,
and ride the trails that we would make ourselves typically. Or we drop the bikes off on the side, and then we go walk into the woods and go play like ditch in the woods.
yeah.
Hell, I mean, a lot of my friends, we would use the whole city of Greendale to play ditch
You
all over the
just
fucking
gave away
place.
your super secret location there.
I said the whole city. We'd use the whole city. I didn't tell you where.
Yeah, I know. I know. See, this is what
So
happens when you don't smoke menthols.
yeah, if you don't smoke menthols, you don't have a raspy voice.
You
You
slip
know,
up,
I
you give away all your geographic location information.
my geography. If anybody wants to dox me, go right ahead. I have nothing.
Yeah, I have everything.
He does have everything.
I'm a criminal.
Hmm.
I don't care.
I don't
Take
know
it.
why he's. I don't know why he's a criminal.
I just work here. That's why.
He just works
Yeah, I'm
here.
a
So
criminal because I have it in my life.
hmm
So
you you haven't ended your life.
yes, they want me to end my life. You know, the
Yeah,
narrative, the
the
people in
narrative.
charge, the central
That's
government, the
they do want you
conspiracy,
to. Well,
whatever
they
you want to
do.
call it.
Yeah, I mean, we joke and laugh about it, but they that's the whole reason why the system is
They're
set
trying
up.
to
I
starve
mean,
us to death.
yeah,
That's why we're
yeah,
criminals.
yeah. I mean, because the fact of the matter is they want the old world regime, the aristocracy, to own everything and have their place in society, and there's no room for the
Yeah.
peasants. They only need a few of the peasants to work the land essentially,
I mean, think about it.
or be the
I think what
entertainment.
was a BlackRock or whatever, one of those big investment firms said, well, you guys are gonna have to buckle down and tighten up your belt. You know, it's gonna be hard. Okay.
Black. That was
How
BlackRock,
much
I think.
okay, yeah. How much harder does it have to be? Like, am I being tied up in a basement hard? What's the deal? So
Buffalo Bill. Uh, it
it was
puts
a
the
lotion on
it
the
puts
skin,
the
we pressed it
lotion on
back
the
again.
skin. So, or we talking Jeffrey Dahmer killer,
I don't
where
know.
he takes you off, he kidnaps you off the street, takes you to his apartment, fucks you in the ass, and then kills you, and then chops your body into pieces, and stores you
Let's say it burns, but
in
in
a
a good
free
way, so I don't know.
in a freezer locker. Huh. What burns? The lotion or
No.
Jeffrey Dahmer having his way
It's
with
never
you?
mind. Never mind, yeah. Well, what you just said.
So that's a say. Actually, I'd say the government was probably the Jeffrey Dahmer way. Kidnap you off the street, have their
Mhm.
way with you, and then chop you into little bits and pieces so they can feed themselves. Meanwhile, you're dead.
You know, I like to play PUBG. Well, I did like to play PUBG. I haven't played Xbox in probably, I don't know, 6, 7 months.
Yeah.
And I was playing solo and I got killed by Jeffrey Dahmer. It was pretty funny.
That's
I got a
that's nothing,
picture
man.
somewhere. I'll see if I can find it and put it in Hunter Biden's crack house.
That's nothing, man. I was playing Red Dead Redemption once, and I got bucked off my own horse, and then your mom ran me over. The the horse's name was your mom. Somebody named their horse your mom and ran me the fuck out. And then I guess I don't know. The horses are kind of glitzy there, man.
Yeah.
It was funny. It was great.
Well, like I said, it's better than the opponent.
Hmm. So, and actually, speaking of virtual worlds and then experiencing the element of the old days that you were talking about, that's what I kind of like with a game like Red Dead Redemption 2, is you can escape into your own mind playing that
Yeah.
simulation, and kind of fantasize of living in those early days of the late 19th century, early 20th century America, where it's
Yeah.
still all vast frontier, small town. People work hard, people don't have a whole lot, but they still had enough time to relax and have fun.
Yeah.
So, whereas now we have so much excess that it's just normal to, but yet we're poor. We have so much excess, but we're poorer because of the welfare state. And
Mhm.
I mean, we got to work harder in order to survive, in order to not,
Pointless, man. I mean, even in
yeah,
China, they have a lay down movement.
yeah,
People just don't. They don't want to. They don't want to work. They want to be left alone. They want to watch their
mm-hmm,
TV programming. You know,
mm-hmm,
they want to raise their family.
mm-hmm,
That's what it used to be. That's the legacy. The
yeah,
rights we used to have. Now they're being
yeah,
grandfathered.
yeah. And like I said, like I said, like it's not that they didn't work back then. They worked, but they
Yeah.
had more time to spend with family, raise the family,
Yeah.
build a culture, and then at the same time relax and have fun
Yeah.
and loosen up and kick back in their own simple way. And they didn't, and most people did not have a whole lot. And shit, my grandfather, during the 30s when he was a teenager or young adult, would go around pole sharking.
Yeah.
That's how he got around with life. Like to start out his life before he ended up going off and becoming a teacher. That's what he did. He
I,
pole sharked. He had fun and he made a little bit of money
I got
because
a
he was.
picture of my great grandpa. Well, my family has a picture of my great grandpa when he was 8 or 10, and he was
Hmm.
working on the railroads.
Yeah,
I mean, he
yeah.
self-started. I mean, you don't have to put in backbreaking work at that age. You just be doing something,
Hmm.
contribute.
Hmm.
That's illegal now. So I don't know.
Yeah, I had a great grandfather or a great grandfather
Well,
that
I
worked on the
certainly hope
railroad.
so. Otherwise, he
So
wouldn't have been here.
yeah, well, who worked on the railroad. He and in fact, that's how he got a pension after he died on that said railroad, I believe.
Yeah.
And that's what allowed his family to be able to survive afterwards because of that pension that he left that was given to them after his death
Yeah.
from the railroad company. So little perks there for backbreaking work.
Yeah.
So he also had a government pension from fighting in the war.
Well, everybody knows when they're forced to go in.
Yeah, conscription is slavery. Even if it's
See,
even
that's
if it's
that's that's the
voluntary.
difference. That's the difference. They were forced to go in, and as a
Hmm.
result, they got rewarded with the pension.
Yeah,
In the
that's small.
1800s, there are people at Worthington that were working for free for months, and
Hmm.
sorry, they be sorry about that. They were working for free for months, and they wound up being the CEO of their own businesses.
Oh yeah,
So that's
yeah.
a
I
stark,
know who you.
stark, deep contrast.
Yeah, yeah. I
But
know who you're talking about. Yeah.
yeah,
No, I mean really. I mean that takes true tenacity. That takes true ingenuity, tenacity, and motivation. I
mm,
mean, just striving to be the best, and I mean, if that means, yeah, in order to work your way up, that means basically being a slave.
yeah,
Eventually, it ends up working. all in the long run. But when you live off a welfare system, you're a slave to the demand of monetary contribution, where
Yeah,
Peter pays Paul.
yeah.
Peter is forced to pay Paul.
Well, I'd like to keep talking about this, but we're gonna have to cut it off here and potentially pick it back up with Arvin Vohra. He's supposed to join us tonight, but life happens. Life happened last.
Life's a, yeah.
Um, Use potential, and maybe round 3, we're gonna get this knocked out and talk about the book. I really enjoyed talking about what we've talked about now, and I
hmm
think that we covered some, not all, of the principles that he's talking about in the book.
We pretty
Um,
much covered a little bit of this book.
yeah, but
Um, check it out.
it's rather
Yeah.
rather well.
hmm So,
Both got it, both read it. So
hmm it's an interesting
perspective,
contrast of
hey,
a perspective, a contrast, and a comparison of
yeah,
society today.
yeah,
So, um, yeah, I would definitely check it out, and we did. We pretty much covered what that book pretty much covers in our own
unique way.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Don't
because
forget to
everybody
hit,
has
yeah. Don't forget to hit
everybody.
us up on Telegram, Hunter Biden's Crack House. We're always there to listen. If you have something to say, to send us a message, share a meme.
Mm.
We got 9 people in there. We're the only people that are posting so far. We want a community of crack dealers.
Because
Um,
Hunter needs his product, and we
yeah,
need to make our money.
yeah.
Meme crack for Hunter.
I'm at AI Conan 90 on Twitter. My name's Andrew Joseph.
And I'll drop them both down in the description. I don't
Uh,
have to. We don't have to constantly say our Twitter handlers,
yeah,
but
well, it's
I am at legacy underscore Zach. And just remember, folks, what we were talking about, that's our perspective.
yeah,
Only you can make your own perspective, because there's no monopoly of perspective.
yeah,
And we may be the legacy right, but you have legacy rights.
yeah. Had to tax it, didn't you?
I had to tax it. I'm like the IRS. I got,
Yeah, it's
like I
okay.
said, like I said, behind this OSU background, 87,000 IRS agents.
Yeah,
I'm full blown Fed, baby. And
that's
I'm
fine.
gonna
Hit
tax.
the Fed. I'll start with
I'm
you.
I'm gonna tax every meme and every nook and cranny of the internet that I can.
Taxing it for the greater good. I know.
hmm
Well,
So,
thanks for joining us, guys. We really appreciate you spending some time with us. Hope you enjoy our content as it continues to evolve.
and if you see or hear from Dave Smith, tell him to get his ass over here, because I really want to know, how the fuck are you going to build these parks? I
Yeah,
want to know, damn it, and the roads.
I can die in peace if I get Michael Mouse on the program. So,
Oh, I'd commit suicide after that if Michael Malice jumped on the program. I'm like, uh, my life's complete.
yeah.
Dave Smith jumps on the program, man. Let this Twitter. We got. Well, we're starting Twitter war, man.
No, look, we got to start from the beginning, okay? We got to get Robbie the Fire on here. He's our bridge.
Amen, brother. Amen. Amen. Robbie. I know that you're out there somewhere.
Yeah, over the
Come
rainbow.
on, boy. Come on, boy.
See you later.
Peace.
Peace.